So, I hear Sony is calling my name. Yes, it is I, the Sir Daniel Fortesque, and I heard that they are bringing me back in a new remaster. You know how exciting that is? I don't remember the last time I was actually called. I thought they'd put me down. I know there is one fan somewhere around here. So, ladies and turds, as you may have, discovered, I am not, Sir Daniel Fortesque over here from, the MediEvil series, but Sony actually, last month in the PlayStation Experience, announced the remaster for the MediEvil series. Now, I know many fans have been wanting, like this franchise to come back. I believe there were 2 games on the PlayStation 1. The first one came out in 1998, and it was, like a 3D platformer, except more of an, open world. And it kind of took place in, as the title suggests, in the medieval days. And you were this skeleton knight, kind of figuring out puzzles and the mystery on, I think, why you got killed or something, or brought back to life. And then there was a sequel, also on the PlayStation 1, that came out in the 2000s. And then I think there was also a 3rd game on the PSP, MediEvil Resurrection, which, attempted to bring back, the original, game, except remastered or, retold. Many fans said that, the original series kind of lost its charm with the PSP port. And so, they're very excited. Like I said, I didn't grow up with this series, but I did play it a little bit. I hope that they keep it just as silly and the humor is still there as it was in the PlayStation 1 days. Take the Crash Bandicoot Insane Remaster for example. They did a very well job on that. I can honestly feel, the excitement that fans would have for this long and I guess lost and maybe even kind of forgotten series on the PlayStation 1. This is really cool, not only because we're gonna get this game, but because this kind of shows me that Sony has been listening to the fans. And I was actually waiting for like a Spyro trilogy remaster or something to be announced in this PlayStation Experience here, but they didn't say anything. But it would be dumb of Activision not to say not to at least hint at it, or at least work on it, because I know it's coming, but we are not sure when. And then the Sean Layden dude over here, he's teasing us, the fans. He first did it with Crash Bandicoot when he walked out on stage with the shirt. Then he did it with Wipeout, I believe, and that's getting a PlayStation 4 game now. It's kind of become a little inside joke, with the fans and stuff. I didn't recognize it at first because it was a little bit hard to see. And like I said, I'm not as familiar with this MediEvil franchise as I am Crash or Spyro. They didn't show a trailer or anything. They just showed a little 50-second teaser over here, basically announcing that it is coming out in 4K, completely remastered. And I don't know when that'll be, but I'm expecting maybe next year. If it's anything like the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, then I believe they had they showed it during the E3 of 2016, I think. Then we got the first trailer in the PlayStation Experience 2016, and then the game was out pretty much by E3 2017. But this also opens the door to so many other possibilities. They did that with Parappa the Rapper over here on the PlayStation 4 with a remaster. That game also came out on the PS1, and it's a cult classic over here, as much as bootleg as the controls actually are. Then they actually also brought back Loco Roco 1 and 2 over here. These 2 PSP titles, I remember playing the first one on the bus on my way to school, and I enjoyed it a lot. So I was completely surprised seeing that Sony actually kind of remembered this random series here. And then similar Patapon over here. All 3 of these games over here are actually rhythm games, so I don't know if Sony really rhythm games or if they're just kind of testing their audience. And I never understood the argument where people say that remakes or remasters are bad. I never thought that. As long as the actual game, the final outcome is good and still kind of keeps the same gameplay elements or what the developer had in mind originally, then I think it's awesome, because more people get a chance to play this series or franchise. Basically, I never got to play MediEvil in the toddler days, and this gives me a chance to do that. And so like I said, this is very exciting, not just for fans of old consoles and titles and stuff, but basically new generation to be kind of introduced to these awesome series. Like I said, Activision and Sony, I'm guessing, were both surprised how well Crash Bandicoot did the success, because of after his absence for so long. I am sure they had their doubts, but I don't think they expected those old classics that people grew up with, they could have another chance. And that's why I made those 2 previous videos here, kind of the PlayStation games that need a remake. It was kind of my wish list to Sony. And as exciting as this announcement is, that MediEvil is coming back with a remaster, I don't know if I'll ever get as hyped and kind of actually tear up during the stream as I did for when Crash Bandicoot was announced that it's coming back. I've been asking PlayStation to bring it back for 100 years, and I never expected them to actually listen and for the fans to actually come together and actually make it happen. It is insane. And so yeah, like I said, leave it in the comments, ladies and turds. tell me what franchises would you like to see, come back. I pretty much made a two-part video if you want to see, which ones I'd like to see. But this kind of shows that, Sony is kind of serious, not just on, making new games and, swell experiences for everyone, but actually bringing back, old classics like, Shadow of Colossus over here is being remade and it looks completely gorgeous, from the ground up on the PlayStation 4. That is probably my favorite, PlayStation 2 game here, that I remember from experience, and I cannot wait to replay that game. But with that said, ladies and turds, I hope you enjoyed this, video. I hope you enjoyed, cheesy, Sir Daniel's appearance over here. I am excited, not only to play this game, this classic that I kind of missed out on in the toddler days. I'd much rather, have my Spyro. But even then, Sir Daniel can tell you over here. Now who needs Spyro when you have the Medieval series? Am I right? That is, I do not agree with him, I need Spyro. You may not like Spyro, you may, enjoy your Medieval over here, but I like my Spyro. Thank you for watching this video. It's a little bit short, I know that I'm, a little tardy to the party with the, PlayStation experience and, some of the trailers and news. Thank you for watching, ladies and turds. I hope you enjoyed the, cheesy appearance over here by Sir Daniel, Fortask himself, and I'll see you on another lovely episode. What is he saying? Medieval is the greatest franchise ever to be made. Forget Crash Bandicoot, forget Tomba, forget Spyro. I've never even heard of them. Hail Sir Daniel Fortask. I have risen from the cemetery. I have returned to dominate this new generation once again. And if it wasn't for fans like you, and maybe even the Patreon support over here, then series such as Medieval may not have even existed. Keep it up and maybe we'll get the Medieval 2 remade as well.